All right, so this is the assignment. It's a website mock-up. And what a mock-up is, it's just how the website looks. There's no functionality in it at all. So links don't have to work. Um, uh, all we need to do is make an image of what the website looks like. Okay, and you're welcome to chime in with any questions as we go, please. So this is a 3-page mock-up of some type of website of your choosing, and just suggested pages could be your home, like a gallery, and maybe an about. But you can pick any ones that make sense to you. In my demo, I'm not going to pick these. Yeah, Amanda or Amelia, sorry.
Is this project sheet up on Canvas yet?
It is not yet, no. So,
Okay.
and why it's not is because I'm recording it, and then I'll put a link to this recording in the video area here. So you'll have the latest video. Yeah. So anyway, so it's technically not complete because that video is not there yet. Let's see. So yeah, you're producing this 3-page website in Illustrator. It's just basically going to be 3 pages. Okay. The other part of this, oops, and this really shouldn't be there. Just remember to add. The other part of this is submitting a process book, and a process book is just really what it says. It shows someone who's looking at your portfolio the process you went through from your research to your sketches or thumbnails and yeah, to your designs. Okay, and it could be a lot more robust than that, but that's really all we're going to be including in this process book. Is research, meaning looking at a couple of sites that are similar to the topic of your website, just so you can see how other like websites take care of some of those problems, and then sketching up some ideas. So there's a few more capabilities in Illustrator that going through this website is going to show you. So here's some of them down here. To understand how to create and edit type in Illustrator, how to pick a color family, learn how to create thumbnail sketches, learn about artboards in Illustrator, and this we may have done a little bit last time, but changing stroke color thickness and the fill color of our shapes. Some art goals: learn how to research prior to a project, learn what a grid is and how to use it. And this grid is it's a kind of graphic design grid, so it's a little different than just a grid on a page. And then lastly, learn how to create pages that are similar and have a similar feel, but with different content. So we'll cover those. Okay, so first you're going to decide on the subject of your site. For me, I'm going to do national parks. Then I'm going to go find a couple of websites that are similar to it, and using the snipping tool, if you're using a PC, or if you're using a Mac, I can show you how to do it, but you're going to basically capture those so a home page and then 2 secondary pages from each site. Underneath that, you'll list just a couple things: name of the site and like the colors used. And we're not including pictures, but more of the graphics. So let's go to that point now. So I'm in a browser here, and I'm going to go to National Parks. Okay, National Parks. Let's see what we have. So the nps.gov, that would be a good site for me to capture just to see how they do that. So I am going to get the home page. Now the home page, oh, I should mention this. I'm going to go back to the project sheet. Is that when we get to the point that we're opening up a new document, this is going to be for a like a desktop or a laptop. It's not going to be for a phone or a tablet. So it's going to be 1366 by 768, and that's a wider format, okay? Similar to the window you're viewing this in, okay? Landscape, in other words. So what we want to do is capture this page, but we're only going to need to go down to this the bottom of the page, and that's called in website anatomy, it's called the fold line, and sometimes they called that in the newspaper business, and I think that came over to the website business. So what I'm going to do if I'm using a Mac is I'm going to do hold down three keys with my left hand and then click the number 4, and those 3 keys are going to be Command, Control, Shift, and then I'll click the number 4. So what happens with that is now my cursor is, it becomes a crosshair, and then I can click on a corner and drag to the opposite corner to copy whatever, it'll copy whatever is in my, in that area that I selected. Okay, so then, and now it's on my pasteboard, so it's copied it. I'm going to open up Word and paste it in. This is where I'm going to put my process book together. If you're using a PC, you're going to go to, let me just open up a blank document here. Okay. Okay, so this is Chad's process book. And my first, I'm going to paste it in, and I'll probably size it down because it doesn't need to be all that big. So something like this, and then I'll just put a few spaces, and I'll do the next 2 captures right here. If you're on a PC, you're going to go to the Windows button in the bottom left, and then up to it's like software or programs, and then it's under utilities is where it is. I'm sorry about that. It's been a while since it's under utilities, and within utilities is a little bit it's a little software program called Snipping Tool. It comes with the PC, and what you do is you once that opens up, you'll click New, and then you basically have the crosshairs just like I showed you, and you'll go over an image and you'll drag from one corner to the other corner. When you release it, it'll be in your, it's like you copied it, it'll be in your pasteboard, and then you'll go into Word and paste it in. Roman, yes?
I just got a question. Am I supposed to be still looking at the project sheet?
Say that one more time.
Because on my screen, I still see the project sheet, so I can't see what you're working on.
Oh, is that true for everybody? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. No, that is true for everybody. Thank you, Roman. That was helpful. Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm going to share my whole desktop. Okay, so is everyone seeing now the national parks?
Yeah, I can see it.
We're good on that now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Thank you, Roman. That was really important. So Yeah, so again, on a Mac, I mean, it's a Command Control Shift 4, and here are the little crosshairs you can see. I'm going to click and drag over the area that I want to capture, and then that goes into my pasteboard, and then I'm going to Control V to paste that in, click on it, and then I can resize that down to where I want it. And then what I'll do is go to my like a secondary page. And for me, I think I'm going to go to a page about a park. I'm going to go to actually, I'm going to go to California real quick. And then I'll go to, here's Joshua Tree. Okay, so same thing, same key command, Command Control Shift 4, or if you're on a PC, go to the snipping tool in Utilities. You'll drag this box around what you want to capture. It's like you've copied it. We'll go into Word, paste it in, and then resize it down. And I'm going to probably put in here nps.gov. I think that's the website for that. And then the second one might be, let's see, just go grab another one like lava beds or something like that. I know they're pretty similar, and that's actually not very fun. And then plus these alerts take out, let me try to dismiss those. Okay, that might be a little better for us. And then this COVID thing at the top is also disrupting. So that's really what the site would look like if we started here and went down to that point. I think I might just capture that instead of the alerts. Couple spaces, paste it in, resize that down. It'll move up to this top row, and then I'll just, oh, okay, it's not. So it's kind of a little fussy on room. I'm pushing the edges, so I'm just going to size everything down. So now that I have these, my next step is to write the color family on the site. And color family doesn't include photos. Photos are a little different because I'm not going to put in all these different greens and then rainbow and then blue sky and gray clouds. But what we can pick out here is there is black type, okay? And then there's a little red alert here. So I know it uses black and red so far. When I mouse over info, see how it turns gray? So that would be another one that I can include. And then when I come down here, I see that there are some in blue as well, and this very light gray. So there's quite a few colors in here. So we have a black, a dark gray, a light gray, a blue, and a red so far. Now this is kind of linking probably to another site because it's, which is called iWindow or something, I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm not going to include that. These are green, but I think, you know, some of these government sites are kind of pieced together. Just going to see what else I can find here that might help. And I'm not going to include the colors on the social media because those are based on social media's corporate colors. So I think that's probably enough. So I'm going to just jot those down. The color family. We have black, dark gray, light gray, kind of a deep red or a dark red, and then a blue, which not totally, anyway, blue's in there. So that, and we'll do that for two different sites. Okay. Okay, there's a few things that I want to point out. Are there any other questions as I'm going here? Like, can everyone, a big question, can everyone see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now notice on this, we have a black bar at the top. There's the logo, the name of the site. There's a search bar and a menu. Then there's a big, sometimes they call it a hero image right here in the middle. And this one is, you know, there's a gray area over it and it's a find a park, and there's a drop down. And then the site's divided into three. And one thing I want to point out is that this site, and let's see if it's so most modern sites are built so that they're resizable with the same site. So what happens is that the website will read what screen size it's being displayed on, and as it goes down to different sizes, it will adjust. See that jump right there? And then we should see another jump or two. Like this month drops down to the next line. We still have three columns down here, and we're probably at a tablet size right now. If I keep reducing the size, now we're at possibly a large phone or a small tablet. And then this is the smallest it will go. I think it's about 375. So this is what it would look like on a phone at that pixel width. So and just FYI, not that we're building it. This is just kind of a side note type thing. A lot of sites do use that capability. What I want to do is see if there's another site that has national parks associated with it. So this is nationalparks.org, and this is nps.gov. So let's see if there's a difference. Okay, that's actually kind of nice, isn't it? So I'm gonna grab this and I'll put this in as my second site that I'm researching. I'm already noticing that we have a dark gray, a white, a blue, and a dark blue that's being used here. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Let's see. And this is nationalparks.org. So we'll get that first one in. It's a lot better than government sites. They usually go to the lowest bidder, and they're not always that pretty. So here's a secondary site. It has a similar look and feel, but we get in, instead of a giant hero image that takes up the whole space like we would on the home page, the secondary page, we do have a hero image, but now we start getting into a story very quickly. So I'm going to capture this one too and put this down as one of my secondary pages. And let's see. Okay, history and culture. Grab this one as well. Okay, and then I saw a color family, dark gray, dark blue, light blue, white. And I guess I mean, in all fairness, we could include white up here. White and black are kind of givens, but this also has a nice little paper texture happening on the type and in the background. And that's available to you if you want to do that. Oh, and here's a kind of a cream or an off-white. I guess we'll just call it a cream for now. Okay, so this is our research. Now the last thing we need to do is put thumbnails in. So, and is anyone familiar with the term thumbnails, and can you explain that to us? Okay, thumbnails are, I may have mentioned this, but if I didn't, it was in another class. So thumbnails are very small sketches. They call them thumbnails because they're not really the size of thumbnails. They're probably about an inch-ish. And what they do is they give a designer the ability to quickly sketch out a design without spending hours on it. I'm just doing one here, and then I'll snap a picture, and I'm going to put it inside my process book. So I'm doing one. So these are not copies of these. I'm just looking at these for inspiration. So what can I glean from these? Well, all of them have this big hero image. I think that helps sell people on, because when they go to a national park, it's like the view is so spectacular that I think that's important, and that's what they're trying to convey, these big canyon lands or this mountain range or just this sunrise over these cacti. So yeah, so what I'm doing here, and I will show you in just a second, but I'm trying to take these best ideas from these sites that I've researched and put them in some sketches. And so I have a home page of my design, let's see, I might want to do this with the title. Okay, I'm just gonna, just for time's sake, I'm just gonna do one. Take a shot of it. And I'm gonna just drop it. So once you get a photo of it, you can mail it to yourself or airdrop it or whatever. Oops. This is the one I want, actually. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there's my sketches. I'm in Photoshop. What I'm going to do is, it doesn't look terribly clean right now. I'm going to rotate it. So to rotate, I'm going to go to Image, and I know you haven't used Photoshop yet. Image, Rotate, and for this to be correct, I'm going to go counterclockwise, 90 degrees. And then I'm going to use the cropping tool to just crop this to the right width so I can get rid of all the other stuff. And then lastly, I'm going to use Image Adjustments Levels. And what this will allow me to do is get rid of that kind of paper stuff in the back, the paper texture. Yeah, that's good. So this is my home page on the left. Has a larger image than the other two. This is a national park's logo and the name of the national park. Now notice I'm just using lines and scribbles. The scribbles mean headline, and the lines next to each other mean type. And if there's a box with an X through it, that means picture, photo. Okay, I should put an X through this one. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so here's my thumbnails. I'm going to copy that. I'll go into Word and I will paste that in. And if we go back to the project sheet, it says create small sketches showing your site's homepage and 2 secondary pages. And then consider another layout direction, because we don't always get it right the first time. Create another set of thumbnails showing a new solution to the homepage and 2 others. So you should have 6 thumbnails, 3 for each direction. Does that make sense for everyone? We doing okay?
What do you mean by direction?
So I guess what I mean by direction is, well, let me go back to, okay, so this one I have a bar at the top with the headline and a big hero image. Maybe I don't want to do it this way. Maybe I want to do it a different way, like, well, let me just do the secondary set of thumbnails so you can see the difference. So this one, I'm going to put the logo. Okay, I'm just quickly doing these. Thanks for your patience here with me. Okay. Picture, bring it up real quick. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Let me do a little bit of adjusting on these so these look better. So I'm going to go clockwise on that. I'm going to crop it. And bring up my levels. My lighting was a little goofy. Okay, so on this, so now to answer the question was, this top row is one direction. So I have a logo that overhangs my top bar, which I have shown in all 3. Okay, I have 3 bars for like a little hamburger menu that you would click and you'd see a menu pop up. And then down below, image, image, and some type with a great big hero image. The secondary pages would have either an image with a headline and type, or just headline and type. Now the whole secondary direction is different, where I have the logo, the title of the site with the menu up at the top. That's all, and that repeats for all 3 of the pages. There's an image here. Oops, I should probably. So this is an image, and then each of these are images. Come on. Okay, all right, and then this is an image. So this one I'm using a narrower hero image with 4 little sub images underneath it. So that's my home page. And then my secondary pages have a narrower hero image with a picture, a title, and then some type. So this is one direction, and this is a secondary direction. They're not terribly different, but they're definitely, they're their own, they're unique. Does that help explain the difference between the two, the different directions?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. I'm going to copy this. I'll go into, oops, I don't know why that came up. Here, I'll delete that, paste it in. Okay, so if I look at this is my process book. I have one site researched with 3 images and the color family defined. Same thing for the second site. And then I have my thumbnails included, and I'll save that as my process book and submit it with my website design. This comprises my research right now. Okay. Are there any questions about that process book in the research phase?
I have a question. So for if you have not a Mac, a PC,
Yeah.
you said to capture the photos for what you're gonna do. You did the national park. I would go to utilities.
Yeah. And then the snipping tool. Do you see a snipping tool in there?
For my illustration. Or I'm sorry, for like the internet.
So this would be so the utilities would not be online. It would be on your hard drive. And so if you click the window, you know what I'll do? I'll post a little video next to this one that shows how to make a screen capture, not print screen or anything, but selecting part of the screen on a PC. I know they're available out there, so I'll find it and I'll put it in there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you bet. Good question though. Yeah, I wish I had a PC. I wish I could go, okay, that's what you do on a Mac, here's what you do on a PC, but hopefully this video will take care of that. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'm going to jump back over to the project sheet and we'll continue. Okay, so we've considered another layout direction and we've created another set of thumbnails. We have 6 of them and we've included those in our process book. So you don't need to scan them necessarily. You could just take a photo of them and email it to yourself and then post it in your process book. Now we're going to be going into the design phase in Illustrator. So, and I'll walk you through that. So within Illustrator, let's see, I'm going to make a new, let me get this down to a good size so it's in my video. Oops. Oh, come on, you. Yeah, okay, there we go. All right, so we'll make a new file. And in this new document, it does say the preset in there, but if you go to Web and choose this common 1366 by 768, that's the preset that we'll use for our web pages. And that'll be horizontal, so it'll be a web page that will fit on a kind of a desktop type scenario. And we'll choose Create. So here it is. And so now I can talk about a grid. A grid is an underlying invisible structure underneath any type of designed any type of design, really. So you'll see a grid. Well, a grid is something you align your pictures up to and your type up to, so it has organization. You don't really see the grid generally, but just because things align is the way you would, is how you would see it. So, but this happens on web pages, on magazines, on any printed material, you know, newsletters, you know, brochures. Nearly everything that a graphic designer touches uses a grid. Okay, so for a website, we're going to also use a grid. So let me try to make that a little smaller. And this grid, what we're going to use are guidelines. And to create guidelines, you'll need to get your rulers viewable. So if you go up to the top menu and choose View, and then go down to Rulers Show. So notice that the keystroke, the shortcut is Control R, R for rulers. And it shows these rulers here. And to make a guide, you would click inside a ruler and drag it down. You can see there's a little guide coming out. And when I release it, I have a guide, and that will not show up when I you know, save it as a PDF. You're not going to see it, or if you print it, you won't see it. These are invisible guides, so they're actually really helpful. I'm going to put a few guides in here. Let's see, and that's actually not going to be. I want them about 50 from all of the edges so I can keep my type away from the edges. Now notice I can't adjust or move those right now. To make those editable, I'll go up to View Guides and then Unlock Guides. So now I can move them around or select them and delete them. So what I'm going to do first, and this, I'm sorry if I'm getting a little tricky, but this will, I think, help us. If I go back to my size, it's 1366 by 768. If we were to think of, so think of this 1368 by 768, I think I said. What we want to do is put up like a rectangle up here that is exactly 50 away from the top, 50 from the bottom, 50 from the left, 50 from the right. So to do that, I'm going to take those measurements and subtract 50 from each. So I'm sorry, 100 from each, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So if we go 1366, it's going to be 1266, and then instead of 768, it'll be 668. So if we go back to Illustrator, and if we click, so I'm in the rectangle tool. If we click, what happens is Illustrator's like, oh, this is where you get to, instead of making a free size, whatever you want, this is where you can be really specific about what size you want this thing. And so I'm going to go 1266 px for pixels, and then 668 pixels px, and I'm going to choose OK. So now I have the right size rectangle, but it is not in the right place yet. So to get it in the right place, and we'll have all this, a videotape of all this, so a video so you can review it. But to put it in the right place, we want to center it inside our art. This is an artboard, or I like calling it a page. Illustrator calls it an artboard, so we kind of have to go with a little bit of what Illustrator calls it. So I'm going to use a new palette called Align. You can see it right here, but it's also under Window, Align. Okay. So with this rectangle selected, first of all, we're going to go to this Align to and make a selection here. We can select Align to Artboard, Align to Selection, and I'm just mousing over it so you can quickly find what I'm doing. or align to key object. We're going to use align to artboard. And then we're going to choose center from left to right horizontally, and then center vertically. Okay, so that'll center left to right, and this will center vertically. So now it's exactly 50 pixels from all our edges, and that's helpful to us. I'm going to put this align tool probably down, or align palette down here. And this isn't a guide right now, it's just a rectangle, but we can change it to a guide. So if we go to view, now I have to remember where it is, guides, make. And if I have something selected like this rectangle, it'll turn it into a guide. So there it is. It will not print, but it does show up as this blue thing. Okay, so now we have some margins. We have a margin on our page. And now I can drag some other guides down. Like this will be my top area here. I might move that down. This will be my hero image from this area. And then down here, I'm going to put some guides so I can align the rest of the stuff I'm doing. Let me just collapse this. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up in here as well is that and we're making, right now we're making the grid, okay? So if we were to, we can quickly know where that hero image goes in here if we do multiple pages. Kind of a go-to rule in web design is that, at least what they've been using lately, is a 12 wide grid. And let me show you that. Oops, I didn't want that. I want this. Okay, so nope, come on. Okay, so let's just look at CNN. I think this is a really obvious grid happening here. Okay, okay, so here's the grid. It goes from this edge to this edge. And notice that this CNN underscored section has 3 areas. And 12 could be divided into 3 really easily. 4 with a little gutter, 4 with a gutter, and 4. So this, if we were to see 12 invisible grids going across here, this picture would occupy 4 of them with a little space, another 4, and then another 4. The convenient thing about 12 is that it also can go into 4 across by using 3, 3, 3, and 3. Or it can go 2 across with 6 and 6. So this one is, here's 6 column and 6 column. Yeah, and then here's our 4, right? So it's really, really flexible. And in fact, you could go 6 across and then divide it in half, kind of like they did here. So that's what I'm going to do in Illustrators. I'm going to make a little 12-column grid down here so I can pick whether I want to go halfway across or a third of the way across. So that's what I'll do next. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a rectangle tool, and let's see. Okay, that's the bottom edge of the hero image. This is the top edge of my type or my photos. So I'm going to make just some arbitrary sized box here. And just so I can grab these really easy, I'm going to fill this with like yellow. I won't keep it that way, but this will just be easier so I can grab the middle of it. Actually, that's not, it's hard to see the edge. How about we do like magenta? Okay, so now I want to make 12 boxes across. So I'm going to click and drag this, and I'm going to hold down Shift, which keeps it in line, and I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, which duplicates it. You can see my cursor has a double mouse or double cursor on it. So, and then if I release my mouse first and then release those keys, I've made a duplicate. I'm going to do that again just for everyone. So I'm going to click and drag this. I am going to hold down Shift and then Alt or Option, depending on what computer you're using. Alt for a PC, Option for a Mac, and then I'm going to release it. Release my mouse first, then release the keys that I've held down. Before I do anything else, there's a really nice key command that duplicates what you just did, and it's a Command D on a Mac or Control D on a PC. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, then I'm going to grab all of these, and because they're all selected, they will move as a unit. Okay, and I held down Shift when I selected everything. Okay, I'm holding down Shift as I select. And then I'm just going to drag this edge to this edge, and now I have my 12 column grid. And while those are all selected, I'll go to View, Guides, Make. Okay, so now we have our 12 column grid. And if we wanted to, we could drag all those up. So let's see, how would I don't see, I'm going to, oh, there's, okay. I'm going to do Control Z so I can get them when they're filled, and then I'll just drag it up to the top. It'll just be so much easier for me. And now we'll make our View, Guides, Make. Okay, so this is our 12 column grid, and I'm going to go into layers, and I'm going to rename this layer Grid, and then I'll make a new layer, and this is where my art will go. Okay, and I actually am going to lock up the grid so I don't move stuff around. So we can make sure that everything is on that grid layer by just turning on and off the eye. Okay, good. So I'm on the art layer, and I'm going to start filling this in a bit. Now what I've done beforehand is I have collected some images. Let me just show you what I have here. So I grabbed the National Parks logo, and you can make these if you want, or you can just save them. This is a student thing, so I think it's okay because we're not going to be posting these. We're not going to be putting these out there on our website or anything to try to get work. So I think it's okay to borrow images. So this is my Channel Islands main image. This is my something to do at Channel Islands, and my second to do thing at Channel Islands. This is my Joshua Tree main. You guys, I just labeled these as I saved them. And this is my Joshua to do, Joshua Tree to do secondly, observation, or a whatever that is. Yeah, some kind of observation or a star thing. I don't know why it's not coming. Observatory, sorry. I got a secondary National Park Service logo, a black and white version. And I got some junior rangers that I might be using because that's a pro